haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so now. You may be missing out. And if you have any questions, you may throw that in the comment section. Also, if you can please like this video, if you actually do really like it, because I'm making it real good, so I know you will like it. Let's get into it. Alright, today I'll be talking about forcing spring bulbs. We live in a place where it gets really cold here in winter, and the snow stays in the ground for quite some time. But sometimes we need the bulbs to bloom somewhere between February all the way to April. So what we usually do is we don't subject the bulbs to the actual elements. You can plant your bulbs outside, fine, but then they will come up when the ground starts thawing away a little bit and the snow is gone. This is when you can start seeing bulbs outside. At that point in time, if you have a programmed area where you want to display and showcase your bulbs, it's kind of late. We want to start our bulbs and have them blooming sometime from February all the way to April. So we force them, and by forcing them, we pot them, and then we put them in a cooler, which is a controlled environment, and they will have constant temperatures until when they sprout. When they sprout, you take them out, put them in the greenhouse, and bam, they give you a bloom. Then you use that to the shop. You have to have a program. You have to say, I need bulbs from February, March, and April. So when you pot them in that sequence. Let's say you give them a 2-week interval. So you put certain type of tulips today. In 2 weeks time you put another batch, and then in 2 weeks time after that you put another batch until you have all the tulips going. This way, when they start sprouting, they will start sprouting from the first going all the way to the last one, which already. There is some homework to do behind. You have to figure out which bulbs you want, how you want them, and actually how you're going to use them. And when I talk about spring bulbs, I'm talking about daffodils, tulips, hyacinths, all sorts of perennials. All bulbs will be potted and treated the same as the sample which I'm doing right now. All of them. That's how we force them. So when bulbs arrive, you wanna make sure you confirm what you want. With this variety here is the Tulip Christmas Dream. It's a single-ended tulip. We're expecting bloom mid-April. The color will be fuchsia red, and they'll give instructions there. It's full to part sun. This is a product of Holland. This one box will have 100 bulbs, and this is how tulip bulbs looks like. So this is how the bulbs looks like. They look a little like onions. Don't confuse them, and please don't use them as onions. You won't like it. It has two sides. There is the bottom side, which is basically where the roots are, and then there is the top. This is where your plant will start sprouting. This is where the leaves will come, and of course eventually the flowers top. For this specific variety, I will be using an 8-inch pot. This is 8 inches standard. So what I do is fill it with soil to pretty much all the way 3/4 of where you want it, and then take your bulbs and make sure the top is top, the bottom is bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason I'm doing 5 is when they sprout, I want this to be a fuller looking plant, like one big bouquet of tulips. So we will have a lot of these pots with a lot of different varieties of tulips. You do this to all type of bulbs: tulips, daffodils, hyacinth. You do them the same way. The only difference will be the size of the pot and the amount of bulbs. Again, it depends on your program and how you want to do it. Then you come in and do the top. Make sure it's all nice and firm. You may do a little bit more above the water line, because when you water it, when you water this, it's gonna sink down somewhat. Of that, usually you do a lot of pots at once, but we only have one pot, so you water this nice and even, and make sure it's all wet, covered down there, because you're not expecting this to be watered anytime soon. So you have your pot in there. So this one mimics the outside ground. Like if you were outside, you would plant them on the ground and leave them there, and then the snow will do the watering and everything else. If you have a nice beautiful snow here, that means they will have a nice beautiful wet bulbs, which will be even better. Now if you're gonna put them in the cooler, you won't have that advantage, so you want to water them now, and then you take them and put them in the cooler, which I will show in a minute. So this is a cooler. It's gonna be a little louder here, but this is what you do. You have all these bulbs, they are already potted and then labeled, because you will never know what they are until they get out of here with blooms. So you label them and then you pot them and put them in the cooler. You can see the cooler is set at I don't know if you can actually read the thermometer there. So the cooler is set at 36 degrees. Something like 36 degrees. So it's on like 36 degrees Celsius. I mean Fahrenheit. And it's gonna stay that way throughout the entire winter. So these plants will have a constant temperature, and that's what we mean by forcing. When they break dormancy, they will sprout. When they sprout, that's when you take them out and go and grow them for a bit, and they will give you a bloom. In concluding, so that's what you do. You choose what you want to grow as bulbs, and then you pot them. You make them depending on how big you want your actual bouquet to be, or a plant rather, though it's multiple bulbs, and what color and all those sort of other activities. When you have that, then you pot them, you put them in a cooler, you wait for them to sprout. I will be doing a part 2 of this video when these bulbs sprout, and I'll show you that hopefully I'll have a time lapse of from the sprout to actual bloom and opening of the bloom, and how I'm going to use them, hopefully. That's what you do, and you can do that to all bulbs. You can plant bulbs outside, depending on the zone. You want to consult the zone chart and see which zone you can plant which bulbs. And then when you plant them outside, it's basically the same principle. You just open up the ground, put the bulb down, cover them, and forget them. Come spring, they will sprout. That's how you plant them outside. But that's not forcing. That depends on the nature. And that's how they will grow in a natural environment. But remember, if you live in a place where snow is sometimes 6 feet by March, you won't have any bulbs by March. You'll have bulbs in April. That's how it works. And you cannot control them when they're outside. You can't control which ones are blooming first and which ones are. You can't have the sequential blooms. You will have to wait for them to bloom, all of them at once. That's a totally different thing. I may do one of the outside bulbs, or when they sprout and bloom in spring, I'll show you when they come up. But they will be planted in the ground now. You may want to plant your outside bulbs before the ground actually freezes, so it's easier to dig. That will be it. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day.